It's a very good afternoon. You're watching ZTN News Blitz. Let's take a look at our top stories. News on PF leaders expected this afternoon. Monzora and Kupe cross swords ahead of Congress. Sulumani's entanglement. We'll give you more. And in sport, young warriors in early COSAFA championships exit. Results from Zimbabwe's ruling ZANU-PF District Coordinating Committee elections will be known this afternoon. The elections began on Saturday and were largely affected by incessant rains. They were held in all 8 rural provinces under the party's restructuring exercise ahead of the national elections in 2023. ZANU-PF Chairman Opa Muchinguri speaks.
The National Command Center will officially start announcing the results as we receive them and also validated. The National Command Center will update our constituencies on the final results as soon as the process concludes. So we shall be calling upon you from time to time to also cover as we announce the results.
The MDC faction led by Thokozani Kupe heads for its extraordinary Congress next week. A fierce contest is emerging between Kupe and Secretary General Douglas Monzora. Over the weekend, Kupe blocked gap-filling of the party's 2014 structures since some of the members have either died or defected to Nelson Chamisa's faction. Some insiders believe Monzora wanted to use the process to appoint his backers, but Monzora denied he was plotting to ambush his opponents.
That is the work of people who are afraid of losing. What has been happening is that scores of people, of delegates, have been attending my meetings, and it looks good for my campaign. So there are people who would want to explain away their problems with the supporters and so on. But we will have a very transparent Congress.
Thokozani Kupe could not be reached for comment. South Africa's outgoing ambassador to Zimbabwe, Mpaka Mbete, says more companies from his country are investing in Zimbabwe. After meeting President Mnangagwa in the capital, Harare, Ambassador Mbete said his 4-year tenure has seen Harare and Pretoria intensify economic relations.
Engaging economic organizations in Zimbabwe to try and understand the key priorities that should be there between the two countries. And I think there's been a lot of progress in that. And there have been a few investors that came from South Africa during my period here. So I have a lot of hope for the future. And in the recent meeting between the governing parties of the two countries, there was a resolution that there should be more emphasis now as the two parties meet and engage in the future on economic relations, trade relations, business relations. So this is in line with the pronouncements of the presidents of the two countries as they started their terms of service, where they said they want to focus on economic development of their two countries.
Hopes of finding survivors at Bindura's collapsed Rand mine are all but over after authorities suspended the rescue mission yesterday. This comes after a similar operation was suspended at another mine in Esikotini. Civil Protection Unit Director Nathan Gomo spoke to ZTN.
Our teams on the ground, for now, have stopped the dewatering exercise because the point where we were doing some dewatering from collapsed the day before yesterday, to an extent of even burying one of the pumps used by the Chinese who had come to assist us. So again, there are some big cracks developing around the area, which shows that the previous blasting which was done has left the whole area fractured.
Lendera stars Sulumani Chimbetu launched his 8th studio album over the weekend. The latest offering, called Entanglement, features Afro-jazz musician Aga Nyabinde on the track Vuma Kusara. Nyabinde, a successful musician in his own right, is a marketing executive at ZTN.
Puma Kusara. Next track.
Sorry, before we proceed, that's the song that featured Aganyabinde on the lead guitar.
You heard it now. This is the song that features Aganyabinde.
I'm quite happy that it's only 2 days after the launch and people are receiving it quite well. I'm getting showers of compliments, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But being a professional who's working on an 8 to 5 job, I think most of musicians are doing that. Why? Because it's a bit hard to survive on music alone, especially when you're an upcoming artist. So it doesn't affect my music career. Why? Because most of the stuff are done in the dark at night, you know, after work from 5 to whatever time. And usually our shows would be Friday night until Sunday, you know, and then Monday I'm back in the office.
Ghana today heads to the polls, which will see incumbent Akufo-Addo and rival John Mahama square off for a record third time. 12 candidates, including 3 women, are vying for the West African nation's top job. More than 17 million people are eligible to vote in the harmonized parliamentary and presidential elections. Talks between the UK and EU resume today in a final bid to agree a post-Brexit trade deal. After a weekend of tense negotiations, the UK's chief Brexit negotiator, Lord Frost, will continue talks with his EU counterpart, Michel Barnier. Failure to reach an agreement by year-end will have consequences, as border checks and taxes will be introduced for goods being moved between the UK and the EU. United States President Donald Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, has tested positive for COVID-19. The 76-year-old lawyer was admitted to the MedStar Georgetown University Hospital in Washington, D.C. on Sunday. Giuliani, who led Trump's legal counsel in his challenge of the U.S. presidential election, becomes the latest person close to the president to contract the virus. We move now to sports, where Zimbabwe were booted out of the COSAFA Under-20 Boys Championship after losing 2-0 to Mozambique in their second Group A game in Port Elizabeth, South Africa. Zimbabwe have 1 point and cannot qualify even if they beat Lesotho in their final group game on Tuesday. Lesotho have no points after losing their opening 2 games. Tournament rules state that results against the bottom teams in Group A and B are discarded in calculating the best runner-up. Here's coach Tonderai Ndiraya talking to COSAFA TV after the game.
Very disappointed by the result. Though the boys tried, we're very disappointed that we've lost an opportunity to go to AFCON, and here we are. We just have to prepare to go back home. But overall, pleasing performance in terms of statistics, but of course in terms of the result, very poor. Even if we win, we are not going to catch up with Mozambique. We won't maybe be able to make the cut even if we win the last game amongst the best runners-up. So realistically, we are out of the tournament.
5-time Grand Slam champion Dennis Railstone died yesterday at the age of 78 following a battle with cancer. He passed away in Austin, Texas. During his career, he won 3 U.S. championships, 1 French Open and 1 Wimbledon title in the men's doubles with various partners. Overall, he reached 13 Grand Slam doubles, with 4 of those in the mixed doubles. Boxing legend Floyd Mayweather has confirmed Fan Mio will stage his fight return on their paid celebrity greeting platform in 2021. The 43-year-old 5-weight world champion has promised fans at least another couple of exhibitions for the past 2 years now. Following a pandemic delay, the money man was finally able to make his announcement. Mayweather will fight on United States soil for the first time since 2017. And with that, that's all from us at News Blitz today. Thanks for watching.